Welcome to the lunation situation. The first lunation of 2025 begins with a full moon in the sign of the crab, or better known as Cancer, but I use the word crab because words are spells, eh? So I'm a bit late normally. I usually bring my lunation situations earlier. This is why I guess it's one of the first times that I'm actually looking at the lunation almost, because we are a day away from this full moon in the sign of the crab occurring at 24 degrees. So if you have anything around 24 degrees in the sign of the crab, or better known as Cancer, right? Or where the sun is at, 24 degrees of Capricorn, or 24 degrees of Aries, as well as 24 degrees of Libra is affected here. Now, a full moon is, of course, just like the moon is completely full and round, so is a storyline occurring somewhere around this degree point. So, or somewhere around 24 degrees of the crab. This is relevant for you personally to check out what area it affects, which means what house 24 degrees of the crab falls into for you. In that house, you have, with this lunation, completed a cycle, specifically a 6-month cycle that started 6 months ago around the summer season. And now it is full circle. It is done. It is completed. So we wrap up something here. And this can go two ways. This can bring up a lot of emotions and sensitivity, and perhaps some grief, some sadness, as well as a complete harvest moment. So a celebration of some kind as well, because you rounded up something, you hopefully achieved something in that house. For instance, if it falls in your first house, you have completed something regarding yourself, perhaps your body or your self-esteem, or something about your character that you're now much more comfortable with. So stuff like that. So check out what house it falls in. Underneath this video, you'll see a brief description of what the houses mean. So just look at your chart. Where's 24 degrees of the crab? That's something that you have completed. And of course, when we look into this chart, we can see specifically what the storyline is, really collectively as well. Maybe just to unpack a little briefly what the sign of the crab is. It's the fourth sign of the zodiac. It's the IC, so the deepest, the depth of your chart, the core, the anchor, your fourth house. And it generally means family, home, your childhood, and it's where around, I suppose, the age of 6 approximately, your subconscious starts to become a thing. And so the fourth house is also where you can look for childhood wounds. So it's where this deep subconscious programming is starting. And it usually starts with our family, or it usually starts in our childhood. So this is where we look back to the core of some of your biggest issues, really. And it's the first water sign. So it's very emotional, it's very sensitive, it's very psychic. And like I said, it is about the subconscious. So whatever drives you from the deepest layers, usually it's an unconscious thing, because it's deep within yourself. It's in the dark of yourself. So the idea is that we all go through a healing process in life. And so you make the unconscious conscious. And so it rises from the subconscious up into your awareness, where you can heal, deal, accept, and transform your experiences, your wounds, your sensitivities, your emotions. Like I said, the crab is about the home, family, it's ancestry, so it goes back 7 generations. So some of these imprints in your subconscious can be very much family related, not just you and what you experience, but really something imprinted into your DNA even. So other than that, the crab is about nourishment, so taking care of yourself, taking care of the people around you, which is why it's generally also about mothering, motherhood, your mother, and it actually rules over the moon. So a moon in the sign, a full moon in the sign of the crab, where it is at home, comfortable. So what do we all want to do? Well, we want to retreat. We want to be more private. We want to stay at home, stay under your blanket, get some comfort food, chill out, be with your family, or at least think about these topics of home, safety, family, or whatever feels like family to you, or, you know, seeking that comfort, seeking that security, that safety is normal. That's where the energy is at. So if you feel more sensitive, if you feel like you need to cry, that's on point as well. You know, it can drive us a little bit crazy because, you know, lunatic comes from this energy, right? The full moon. Being at home means it's also fully charged, so it's all about your sensitivities. It's all about your psychic feelings, your intuition. The crab also is about the gut feeling, so really honor what you're feeling. If you feel like you don't want to go outside, if you feel like you don't want to do something, don't. Honor your gut feelings. That's the path of the crab, especially because of the chart. Not that it's bad, but right away we have moon conjunct Mars, which is quite a thing. So the moon, the full moon, occurs at 24 degrees, and we have Mars hovering around 27 degrees of the crab because it's in its retrograde period, right? We're only 1 month into the Mars retrograde. We still have 2 months left, which, I mean, I think it's a pretty long time because usually a Mars transit is actually only 2 months. So anyway, this retrograde is taking a total of 3 months. So we still have 2 months left, the entirety of January as well as February, really, because I think it's February 24th when Mars goes direct. Now this is very, very significant because Mars is in a way also about security, but usually security breaches. Usually, you know, issues, aggression, power plays, conflict, potentially wars, with Mars as the ruler of war, of rules over that area. So with moon conjunct Mars, especially during a full moon and during a Mars retrograde, means that security issues are very high on alert. So be careful about that. Homeland security issues are very high on the agenda as well. So be careful of anger or aggression outbursts of perhaps yourself or other people, because everyone is very, very sensitive around this full moon, okay? So tears or arguments may flow easily, but try not to get triggered by them. This is the difficulty with crab and Mars energy, which rules over Aries. They are both very reactionary. So we want to be careful that we don't, you know, move from this subconscious automatic reaction, but that we are intelligent and patient enough to take a step back and not to immediately react from our triggers, from our emotion, from our hurt, from our pain, and to be a little bit more emotionally intelligent, okay? Take a deep breath, try not to react and take things personally right away. Try to avoid that, which is probably how you avoid the conflict as well. But know that this is a collective energy, so people might be more inclined to aggression or hurtful actions, and just a lot of sensitivity. Okay, a lot of maybe heightened, triggered, yeah, just like an open wound kind of energy. So this can be personal, but it's definitely collective. So be careful in traffic, outside, with your communication with people. Um, you know, on a bigger picture, the collective energy, it's moon rules over the people, like population. So when Mars is conjunct here, something might also occur that affects many people, a population. So really you want to be a little bit laid back, lay low, okay? Be at home, take a bath, and relax, and not take things personal. Mars being retrograde, it also means that there is a lack of vitality, there's a lack of lust, there's a lack of motivation. We're feeling lethargic, our energy's not high, and well, yeah, that's again something you might want to honor because it's a collective energy. So, try not to create resistance to that by overdoing, by thinking that you have to do a lot of things. We are in the winter season in the northern hemisphere, so it's not about doing anyway. So relax, chill, nourish and comfort yourself. So aspect wise, right, that's what we look at when in a chart. Like I just explained, the moon is conjunct Mars. The moon is making a lot of other aspects as well. It's making a trine to the true node. The true node, the north node, has moved into Pisces since a day. So it's at 29 degrees of Pisces, but the mean node takes a while. Anyway, so we're in that like Piscean energy, and so it is trining that, because it's 5 degrees away from this lunation. And of course, the ruler of Pisces, Neptune, is right near the north node and is also trining this lunation. What does that mean? Well, very high intuition. Everyone is feeling a lot of things. And again, a lot of sensitivity, a lot of emotions flowing around, a lot of spiritualness, a lot of psychic insights as well. The veil is very thin now. So, you might actually be able to even like converse with your ancestors, your elders. This is an excellent time to connect deeper with the divine God, the source of all things, whatever you want to call that. The spiritualness is high around this lunation. This is one of those things what you may have accomplished as well. Like I said, it's a harvest moment of full moon. So maybe, you've been, building that spiritual muscle, that intuitional power. So you feel stronger, connected within yourself and to the energies around you, perhaps. It's good. Creativity is high. Creational energy is high here. Just try not to get confused within all of this energetic, emotional ride, because Neptune can be about illusions, deceit, lies, confusion. So do be careful with that. But it's a trine, so it's positive. It should lift us up and should help us to feel into this North Node journey that starts right now in January of 2025 and will continue for the coming 18 months. I've made an extra video on that energy. It is a very woo-woo, spiritual, intuitive energy, so it's not the easiest to listen to, because it's high frequency, okay? But if you're interested in that, I highly advise you to watch my North Node in Pisces video. I will of course link that below as well if you want to watch it. So that's the trine it's making. The moon is also making 2 sextiles, a square. So let's unpack that as well. It's making a sextile to Uranus, who's retrograde in Taurus. Now this is good because you have water and earth. Uranus is the awakener. It's, you know, spiritual awakening here. It's bringing things into earth, into the physical, into the material, the tangible. You can now touch this, you know. You can now see the unseen. You can really enhance your manifestation skills, see how you're co-creating, see how you're spelling and working with the energetic realm to create, to make something physical and material in your life. So, you know, the house where 23, 24 degrees of Taurus is at is an indication what you can bring into your life, what you can materialize, what you can create, what you can innovate, and how you can take steps, massive quantum leap steps forward, energetically as well. So quite interesting, nice. And the moon is also sextiling the south node in Virgo now, at least a true node, true south node is in Virgo. And that is helping to release the trauma from the physical body, from the mental body. This is like, you know, that famous book from Bessel van der Kolk, I think, which is about how deep the wounds go, the trauma goes, and that it, you know, is ingrained within your physicalness, within your mind, your body, and that overcoming trauma, healing, is needed on that physical material level as well. The lunation supports the release, and so I would advise you really to take a detox bath, a foot bath, you know, a relaxation bath with perhaps, you know, some Epsom salt, some baking soda, vinegar, bentonite, clay if you want. Of course, be careful, I'm not a medical advisor, but, you know, a detox bath would be good. Detoxing your mind, your body would be great. Perhaps fasting, stuff like that, you know, to release some stuck energy. You know, as the lunation, the crab energy is about mothering, motherhood, which is very giving energy. You know, it's very about supporting, helping, nourishing others, and so is Virgo. So you know, maybe here we can let go of over caring. Okay, yeah, exactly that, over caring. So don't care too much, especially when it's destructive for your own health, own well-being. You know, there's so much you can give and help and support, but you need to also fill your own cup, right? And not overdo that it diminishes your own wellness and energy levels. So I think that's a very nice support. So there is a releasing element of the physicalness, of the mental, that is supported, but you need to put in the work for that. So just be aware of it and do what you can, do what you would like to do. So like I said, a bath would be a perfect option, but you know, like I said, fasting or grounding, so putting your feet on the grass or earth, or some other healing modalities would be perfect, even like acupuncture, you know, stuff like that. So even hypnosis, you know, is kind of energy that's going on here. So the moon is also, because it's a full moon, so you have the sun opposite the moon, right? It means that there's also a T-square. So both the moon and the sun are squaring Chiron, 19 degrees in Aries. So that's an eclipse point from last year, April 8th of 2024. That was a total solar eclipse. I think it was even visible in the United States. So if you're experiencing something significant around April 8th last year, or you have a planet or point around 19 degrees of Aries, which is right working with this lunation, so is affected. Now a T-square is a push in that direction, or there's a heightened need for attention regarding the Chiron Aries point, so around 19 degrees of Aries. Chiron is about, just like the moon and crab, very deep wounds. It's about, you know, our wounds being triggered so that it can heal. It's about the desire to really, heal deeply, okay? And it's alternative medicine, it's alternative healing modalities, and the topic is really self-esteem, being confident within yourself, being confident in your body, you know, your body image, your leadership, prioritizing yourself, and your bravery, you know, how you can embody yourself more healthily is something we're working with, and there's a strong need to put the attention right there. And so if you have something around 19 degrees of the Aries point, then that planet meaning is, you know, is of significance as well. So for instance, I have, I think, Venus around that degree. So it means that for me, there's a Venusian element, but Venus is also about, you know, self-esteem, and can be body image, you know, loving yourself, feeling worthy and valuable. Now, these are very, actually, interestingly, also kind of Aries topics, but for Aries, it comes more natural. So that's something we need to work at, that, you know, that we have an inherent confidence level, that we have an inherent amount of self-love, that we naturally now start to prioritize ourselves, naturally follow our instinct, our leadership skills, because we all have them within ourselves. And it's also about the spark of life, you know, feeling interested, inspired, passionate, things like that. We need to ignite as well, or at least heal the things around it that is blocking us from a passionate life, from loving ourselves, from our self-esteem, that we can be more brave in life and not give a F about what other people think or want, or, you know, whatever they want to push you into. It's also really, and this is a heated thing, it's also about anger. And you know, this is where it gets difficult, because the moon is conjunct Mars, right? So I mean, it's a wide square, but because it's intertwined with the moon, and the moon is squaring Chiron, you know, again, aggression issues, okay? But positively, you should work really on the confidence within yourself. But you might clash with some people. And the thing is, so the topic is anger, right? Anger can be fueled easily and quickly around this lunation. We're very sensitive for that. but it's not necessarily bad. And society has really, like, I don't know, dismissed anger. But of course you shouldn't be volatile or anything like that, right? But anger is a very sacred thing. It's very powerful. It's a fuel. You cannot cover anger. You can't put it inside of yourself and try to neglect what you feel angry about. It will hurt you. You will destroy your body with that anger. By the way, the anger also is related to your liver, so liver health. So there's a need to channel your anger healthily. Get in touch with your anger, and it is your fuel, it's your passion, and it will drive you forward. So okay, that's your homework. um what's interesting is that actually there's a geometrical pattern pointing to this lunation, the moon and Mars, and that's a kite. Okay, that kite that is in the air, that children usually use. So it's a takeoff point that points to the moon and Mars. So there's quite an importance to this lunation, says the geometrical quantum energy here. The base of a kite is always a grand trine of 3 points. So 3 trines, really. And that here is occurring by the Sun in Capricorn, Uranus in Taurus, and the South Node in Virgo. So there's a huge earth base, very material heavy, related to your body, to finances, to materialism, to success, to the tangible, the seen area of life, right? This is slightly revolutionized by Uranus. We're awakening to the material reality, or at least how we can change as well the same material reality. And the takeoff point is this gut instinct, this intuitional power, this sensitivity that is actually emotional intelligence that the crab brings here. Mars together in a positive sense could really mean that we're awakening to very deep motivations that 2 months later, when Mars goes direct, we will incorporate in our goal making, in our, running after our goals, trying to make them true. It's very interesting that the Mars retrograde occurs in the crab, which is ruled by the moon, but also it started in Leo, which is ruled by the sun. These both are luminaries, like the lunations, so the sun and the moon both are very creational, very powerful. It's about life. It's about the heart, the core of everything. So we're really being pressured, or by the universe to really take a deep look into what your heart is saying, and to have goals that are based from the essence, the truest version of yourself, and to make sure that your goals from 2 months and later on will be heartfelt, gut empowered, affecting generations in a positive sense. So it's a beautiful full moon, but there are some things to watch out for. Like I said, there's also a square in the background. Jupiter is retrograde in Gemini, squaring Saturn, who's conjunct Venus. So do be careful of some blockages. Could be literal roadblocks, financial issues perhaps. The key in the coming times is to really be careful for any illusions and deceit. And that's why you need to build your intuitional powers, And this is a beautiful, hopefully, harvest moment where you can celebrate some of these skills that you have learned. So in true crab style, I want to leave you with a comforting recipe. You can screenshot and follow the recipe. I want to add a little addendum that on January 19th, the sun moves into Aquarius, and January 20th, there's the inauguration of Trump, and January 21st, the sun is conjunct Pluto. So this Mars that we've spoke about in this lunation is then opposite some of this energy, and just be careful that some aggression might be inflared. And so, yeah, this is something to watch out for a week after this lunation. Happy full moon in the sign of the crab, and take care. Bye.